Hi everyone, welcome to your DIY t-shirt bag program. I'm Joy and I work at the Eldersburg branch of the Carroll County Public Library System. I work both the checkout desk and the information desk, so feel free to say hi when you come in and maybe even show me your bag. Today we're going to be working from a plan I found in a book called the Buy Nothing, Get Everything Plan by Leslie Clark and Rebecca Rockefeller. And it is actually available in the library, so if you want to check it out and see other fun do-it-yourself projects, I would check it out. So in the past, I've made t-shirt bags. I have an example here. You can see that. And the bottom, you see the bottom here, it's made up of multiple ties. So I cut the bottom into strips and then tied it multiple ties. But today, we're going to be using one tie system. I find that works a little better just to keep your bag more secure and not have things falling out. So for this program, all you need is a good pair of scissors that can actually cut through fabric and an old t-shirt. And I'm sure you have old t-shirts lying around that you are just dying to try to make into bags. That way you can, well, save the earth, for one. And then also just feel good about yourself and doing a fun craft project. So to start off for this, I am going to turn my t-shirt inside out. This means that all my cut lines, and if I want to draw any lines on my shirt to make sure I'm following, making a straight cut, that they won't appear on my actual bag. So turning the shirt inside out. And then first things first, I'm going to cut off the sleeves of my inside out t-shirt. So this is the part where we're making the handles. So for this, I'm just going to cut along the seam here of the shirt. If you want bigger handles for your bag, you can always draw a line, like using a Sharpie to do that. I just find for me it's a little bit easier to just cut along the seam here, and that's already built in nicely. Just cutting along the seam here. And I usually, instead of cutting it off in one fell swoop, I do one at a time just to make sure it looks a little nicer. Now, some of you might be able to do it a little quicker than me. That's fine. Just go at your own pace. Just going to make sure this looks nice. And feel free to move forward in the video if you're moving a little faster than I am. Or feel free to sit here and listen to the birds. I love listening to the birds. It's a fun craft time. Okay, so here we go. One sleeve cut off. You can see that. One sleeve cut off. And I'm actually going to skip to the next step so you don't have to sit here and watch me cut off both sleeves. Okay, and here we are back. As you can see, I've cut off both sleeves of my t-shirt. I'm ready to move on to my next step. And the next step is to make the opening of my bag. So that means I have to cut off the neckline for my bag. So for this, some people like to get a bowl and use that as a guide to draw. I'm actually just going to lightly sketch a pencil scoop just so I can just kind of eyeball it. Again, you can do whatever you want because this is your bag. And remember, this is going to be the opening of your bag, so this is also going to determine how big your straps are going to be. Okay, so here we go. I've drawn my opening here of what I want it to look like. And now I'm just going to start cutting. nice scissors. As you can see, I drew. I'm going to start cutting where I drew, and this is going to be making the opening of our bag. And remember, it doesn't matter if you're not cutting exactly. Nobody's going to see your drawn on lines because this is going to be the inside of the bag. Here we go. Okay, there we go. So I've kept my, this is the neck of the t-shirt, and now I have just created my straps and the opening for my bag. So here's the next to the last step here. I'm going to actually trim the bottom of this. Makes for a little easier time of tying the bottom. So I'm just gonna cut the hem off. And again, up to you. If you want to keep the hem on, that is fine as well. Because there will be some fraying of the fabric because this is no-sew, which is good for the rest of us who can't sew, right? Something we can actually do. So again, I'm just cutting the hem off of my t-shirt here. And this is going to be the bottom of our bag, so it really doesn't matter what it looks like. Nobody else is going to be seeing this part. But you know, if you want to be fancy, up to you. I'm actually gonna stop here and come back. Okay, coming back, I've cut off my hem of my t-shirt. I've got the hem cut off here, so I'm gonna gather together the bottom like so. And some would suggest I could just do a square knot with this, but for me, I'm actually just going to gather the bottom here and use my cut off hem to tie everything together, like so. I'm actually going to tie it a couple times just to make sure we don't get any leaks with anything. Couple times on this side. And just because I like it, I'm going to make it a bow. And that looks pretty good. So here we go. So I've got the bottom tied off. And the last step is to flip it around and ta-da! Escape the ordinary. Escape the ordinary. Read. So you can see with making the tie like this, the bag is a little shorter than if I had done like for this bag, where I did multiple little cuts and tied the ends. I just favor this a little bit better because then I don't have a holy bag. You know, it's just all one contained. So there you have it, your no-sew do-it-yourself t-shirt bag. Please comment if you like this video, if you want to see more videos like this about how to upcycle different things. It's something I'm really passionate about. reusing things instead of straight away throwing something away or putting it in the recycling. For example, I do have these fabric scraps here from cutting off the sleeves and the neckline, and I'm actually going to reuse these as rags. Something to think about. Maybe instead of throwing these away, I'm going to reuse them as rags instead of using those paper towels. All right, well, it's good seeing everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and stop by in the library to see me.